Hello, my name is Janet Staker Woerner. Currently, I'm a founder and principal of a marketing and strategic consulting firm based here in Madison and Chicago, Converging Communications. I'm here today to talk to you as a group about the importance of communication, not only in your research area, but in the workplace as well. My experience also includes the academic environment, but here today I'd like to talk to you from both spheres and how the importance of the implications of using effective communication can help you in your career goals long term. You may ask as a graduate student, why is this so important? I know my subject area, I have areas of expertise in my domain area. Why is communication important? As long as I can communicate to my fellow colleagues the subject matter, why do I need to be concerned about more effective communications? Well, I'd like to take this opportunity today to talk to you a little bit more about how to leverage communications, not only in your field of research, but in your interactions outside the academic and research committee. What I'd like to do today is break it down into several different areas. I'd like to talk about the overall landscape of the importance of communication. I'd like to talk about why you should care as an individual and how this will manifest this itself over its career. I'd like to give you critical elements in communications to identify some of those factors, the diversity of communication tools, and then steps for you, an action plan for you to develop your own communication plan. Why is communication so important and why should you care? Well, if we look around the world around us today, it is global in environment. Whether we're working face-to-face, in groups, or in a virtual space, communication is as important as it ever was. We need to be able to communicate ideas, advocate, and also be persuasive to obtain funding and grant monies. One of the things that I see as a business owner in the workplace is the ability, and for those who have that ability to communicate effectively, seem to add value to their organization or sphere of influence. This can, again, based on common ground, give you as an individual that additional value for that particular job, funding grant, or actually an opportunity that you might not normally get. One of the things that I like to talk about when I share with others the importance of communication, I like to allude to Tom Friedman, who's written the now well-known book called The World is Flat. Tom Friedman indicates in his book that the world that we are living in is not only a 24/7 world, but it is a continual feed and constant feed of communication and information. If that being true, then let's look on how we need to be more effective communicators in order to deal with the world all around us. The ability is not only for, as I said earlier, a subject matter expert, but to communicate in an effective manner in a space where other people who may not have those skills may be at a disadvantage. In a global world, communication is the vehicle to conduct research, collaborate, present your ideas, advocate, and sell ideas for funding and grants, as well as technology transfer in the private sector. You may have heard of Andy Warhol, who was a pop artist in the 70s. He mentions in the future, everyone will have their 15 minutes of fame. And that is what I am suggesting to you as graduate students and even in the business community. We all are going to have the opportunity to be on stage and in the forefront. And in order to do a better job in that stage, the communication skills, your communications toolkit is so important. And again, I just want to take the time to highlight a few examples that I've seen in my workplace and in my engagement with other clients. Let me just identify what I see as the critical elements in communication. Well, of course, the first one that comes to mind is the spoken and written word. We know that the importance and the compelling nature of being able to write well and also to speak well in front of groups of people. The more opportunities one can take to practice those skills and obtain critical feedback from an audience, this will allow you to refine and hone in on those skills needed. Another critical area that is often overlooked is how research is presented and packaged. You know, we often talk about the subject matter expert and the content, but perception is reality. And in many cases, the way it's packaged, the content is packaged, and the visual elements are just as important, something we all tend to overlook at times. With the visual world the way it is around us, and with the ability to communicate and stream information in 24/7 real time, the importance of packaging that information is all too powerful. How many times have you looked at a presentation or a research project that, although had integrity and was very robust, it wasn't packaged visually as attractive? These types of things are all part of the total essence of being an effective communicator. And I ask you to take a look at those things in your own personal life. How many times have you looked at something that you've put together, but knowing that visually it wasn't quite correct? These are the types of issues that we all must face in order to be that effective and leverage our communication skills to move people to consensus or to move in a right direction to make a judgment. Other areas of consideration are the use of technology to communicate, as in such things as blogs, virtual chat rooms, spaces. How do you market that presence and leverage that presence? Although we probably use those for some of our personal ideas in communication, it also can be very effective for the professional and the research area. And how do you keep those high standards across a continuum, whether it be the written word, the spoken word, it be in a blog, it be in a PowerPoint presentation? What I call is individual branding. You are your own brand in your research area or project. And these are all types of things to consider when you're putting together the message, whatever tool you use. I like to think of it as a toolbox. You add to your toolkit, whether it be written, spoken, use of technology, and you know at what appropriate time to bring out that particular tool. Now, this is something that isn't learned just from day one. It takes time to refine and hone those skills. But the end game or the end outcome is for you to be able to pull from that toolbox so you can have the most effective communications for that particular audience. And while we're talking about the audience, it's one thing I like to always bring up in talking about communications. Know your audience, whether it be other faculty members, your colleagues in research, or just your personal friends. Knowing your audience should help prepare you to use the particular tool or the most effective tool to get that message across. Again, with high professional standards, and the communication reflects you as a person and your high commitment to quality. One other thing I'd like to mention is in visuals is just the use of color. Many times professional type publications and other communications are strictly in black and white, which is a good thing. But I'd ask you to consider the compelling use of visuals with color and also illustrations, charts, and graphs. Since we are limited by time today, I'm not going to go into the particulars, but again, placement of visuals can help you make a very compelling statement when talking or presenting your research in a particular space and time. Communication is just not all about one-to-one or one-to-many, but also can be looked upon from a collaborative point of view, whether you're collaborating in a virtual group or in an actual face-to-face collaboration. Again, those types of effective communications are necessary to get that message across and also to keep the group dynamics in place. Many times I have people say, well, communications is just about writing a paper or putting together a PowerPoint, and it's singular. And I would ask you to consider the importance of team impact, team synergy, working together in a collaborative state. And finally, in wrapping up, I would just like to ask you to think about the diversity that you've prepared for yourself in collecting these tools. Maybe some of you have, and saying, I've done a good job. I understand that my toolbox is full and I'm able to use it effectively. For some others, you may be hearing this and suggesting, I need to look at my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and ways for me to develop and improve. And that's what I'd ask you to walk away with today, is to take a look at your skills, assess them realistically, and then provide an action plan. One of the things I also like to offer is to get a buddy Get a friend to help give you good, consistent feedback on how to refine and hone your skills. In summary, I would just like to offer, it isn't just about the subject matter expert knowledge, it's also about the effectiveness of how you communicate. I thank you for your time, and I hope that you take advantage of these suggestions.